Hey y'all, welcome back to At the Table Podcast, a virtual table where we discuss all things young adulting. My name is Fikayo, and thank you so much for having me back in your ears. This week, our podcast is going to be a little different, and one of the biggest reasons why is because we're actually met here with a guest, my second sister, which is my first sister, Dammi.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, so before we get into talking about what we're going to talk about today, or before we get into introducing you, I'm going to give them a quick rundown of what we're going to do today because it's a little bit different from anything I've done on this podcast before. And essentially it is a Bible study. I've never done this before, but if you listen back to my first episode, I did mention that we were going to be doing these. And I was like, who else other than Dammi to do my very first Bible study with? So period. So here we are. Okay. So when I have guests come on here, this is Dami's first time actually coming on here, but when I have guests come on here, I always ask them a few questions. And the first one is, how are you?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yes, I'm good.
Like, how are you really?
I'm actually good.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
just flowing through life.
Yeah. Okay. And then next thing was, or is, if you could describe yourself in one sentence, what would it be?
Oh. Uh, a girl living her life trying to please God. I think that's the best way to summarize my whole life right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Explain.
I feel like, I'm not old, but I'm not young. So I'm getting to seasons of my life where I'm dealing with people. So trying to please God with my dealings with people, trying to please God with with decisions that I make, like even going to school and like serving Him too. Like, I just don't want to make decisions where it's just my brain. And I'm like, okay, Dami, this is a good idea for you. My thought process with everything is, does this please God? Will this please God? Is this what God wants you to do? So as I'm trying to piece my life together, I'm just trying to piece it in a way that's going to please Him, or in a way that He knows is the best for me.
All right. That's good.
Yeah.
That's very good. Okay. And then the last introductory question is, how did we meet?
Let me explain. On a one faithful day
Uh-huh.
on June 15th, year 2000 and something. God blessed Fikayo. God bless Fikayo with me.
Oh, really?
And said, Fikayo, take your baby sister, for she will take care of you. And that's what I've been doing ever since, taking care of you.
Oh. Okay, so God sent you to me as backup.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah. Right, okay. All right. Okay. We're done with our introductory questions. Well done. 9 out of 10. Okay, now, at this podcast, when I come on, I usually ask two different questions. And I tell my listeners this. And the first one is, how have you been praying?
Hey.
So you could just talk about how you've been praying. What have you been praying to God about?
How have I been praying? Recently, I've been praying with music.
No, but it's not even necessarily how have you been praying, but what are you praying about?
What am I praying about?
Mm-hmm. But I think you should go into that, praying with music as well. Because maybe someone else is listening and they want to get into
Yeah, I think two things I've been praying about. I've been praying to God about what His will for my life is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said earlier, I think I'm just going through seasons where the decisions I make now will be decisions that impact my life later.
Right.
So praying about relationships, praying about even if I want to go for my master's, what will I go for my master's in,
Mm-hmm.
and what school as well. So I just pray in the spirit a lot, just because I know that there's other areas that needs to be touched in my life that I might not directly know. And I've also been praying a lot for my mother's business. I find myself doing that a lot more often. But yeah, I pray with music, so Theophilus, just anything. Even weirdly enough, I've been praying with praise recently also. Just doing different things and just playing praise, or even just worship and just praying in the spirit behind it. When I'm driving, even when I'm doing laundry in the house, I find that sometimes just with the way that life is, we're always so busy during the day. So it's okay, if you don't have that time to sit down and just okay, I'm gonna do my secret time, secret place or quiet time with God, that if you can't do that during the day, you kind of, it messes with your brain. And I guess the Holy Spirit's been teaching me, one, you can pray in your head. Like, and I thought, all my life, I thought that was a sin. Like, it's back to pray in your head. He's not going to hear you. And somebody had to teach me, like, oh no, what are you even talking about? And I was like, okay. And then being intentional, I listened to, heard also somebody say that, like last week or something. He said, say in the morning, say thank you, God, and thank you for my salvation. So I've been doing those two. And then praying, even when I'm doing work or anything, and just blasting in tongues and just listening to something and just praying, or just being by myself and just praying. That way I know that I'm still covering that ground, because I haven't like mastered that quiet time. I feel like it's something that's a lot, like comes with a lot of discipline that I just haven't built fully yet. But yeah.
Yeah, that's so interesting. People ask me all the time, like, how do you do a 1 hour drive? Because in the morning from here to where I work, it can be 1 hour. But I use that time to pray as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I don't know. I really just resonated with that. Like fitting in prayer wherever you can, however it like feels, whatever it seems like. Some days at work, it's like a full out prayer. And I feel like, okay, I have something that I need to pray to God about. Like we need to talk about this thing. And sometimes it's praying in the spirit. And just like I can feel the burden, but I don't know how to articulate the burden. So by praying in the spirit, it helps me like work it out without having the words to be able to work it out. That's why like I'm someone that goes for praying in tongues. Like I think I like it, but some people
Mm-hmm.
just don't believe in it, and that's perfectly fine as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, since you mentioned the spirit too, like praying in the spirit, I wanted to say that. And then secondly, our second question is, what have you been snacking on? So that is like, what is the current happenings of your life? What is on the top of your mind? Like, what have you been like working through? What are you snacking on?
Oh, see me actually about to tell you food.
I know people do that, which is so.
I was going to say the other day I took like 7 Snickers for no reason. I was just thinking like I'm about to go to the gym. What is wrong with me? But I couldn't help it. I was hungry.
I don't like Snickers.
I like Snickers.
It's the peanut butter and like the pieces of it being in my mouth after that kills me.
Oh, no, 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 no. It was like those little fun bars.
Oh my gosh.
I like it. It was good. I haven't had a Snicker bar in months, so I don't know. I just
You're
was snacking
quenching
it.
your.
I'm telling you.
Snickers is good.
I'm
Like I like their
telling you.
advertising.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, okay,
Um,
okay.
what have I been snacking on? Really enough, I don't know. I don't know. Explain that snacking on again. Cause
Like, what are the current happenings? Okay, so of me, for example, what have I been snacking on? I have been listening to a lot of motivational YouTube videos. Like, that's what I've been snacking on.
hmm,
My therapist, she is like very, very Christian. So she's been like explaining some Bible verses to me with a different meaning. So I've kind of been snacking on like the way she explained the Bible to me and kind
mm-hmm.
of like meditating on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Oh, okay. Two things, I guess. I was knocking on Judge Judy. I love
you've
Judge
always
Judy.
loved Judge
I
Judy.
don't know. I feel like she could be my grandma.
Mm.
I love Judge Judy so much. I just like the bluntness. I love that she's a bold woman. Everything about her, I just love. She'll tell you as it is. And it's also teaching me like a lot of things, like about even like when people see you, things to avoid,
Mm.
like things to do. If you want to buy a car, how to make write contracts, verbal contracts. I just feel like she gives you snippets and things that you'll need for the rest of your
That makes so
life.
much sense. And
Yeah.
that's a good role model generally anyway, because she is a woman in a high power that makes big decisions.
Yeah.
So you're even seeing how she rationalizes decisions, and it helps you in your day-to-day life too. So if someone asks you to do something stupid, you're like, you're an idiot. And not only this is the reason why I'm not going to do it, but these are also the legal reasons I learned from Judge Judy why I'm not going to do this thing as well. And it holds up integrity
Yeah.
for you.
It
That's
really,
good.
really does. I just love her so much. Oh, another way. I've been trying to just learn about different businesses that I could venture into. For some weird reason, I feel like I'm an old woman in my head.
Mm.
So I started my first aid in CPR, so I'm just trying to build on
You
that.
started your first aid in CPR. So if anyone needs a first aid and CPR, hit me up.
Certificate.
I know how to get you a first aid and CPR certificate.
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. I've been doing that. I'm doing some sneaky moves, I guess, things in the back too that I'm trying to at least be able to produce or shine to light next month as well. So just like different
Projects
things.
you're working on.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think that if there's ever a time to be doing projects,
it's
it's
now.
now. It's now.
I think we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's great. You're young. You could, if you decide that you're not going to do this thing and you invested money in it, let that money go. It's an investment. I was watching an Instagram video. They said something will click. Out of all of those things, one thing will click and you run with that thing forever. That one thing can make you billions. Just continue to do what you like. What do you not like?
Yeah.
Like it, then eventually you get to that thing where like, I'm comfortable here. I like it here. I could do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Or even if it's temporary, I could do this. I could hire people to do this. And that's a passive income for me forever.
Yeah.
Like that's how I think about it. Me, I'll do everything,
Yeah.
everything godly at least. I'll do it and see where that takes me.
I think this is the time to be adventurous. This is the time to be very, very curious and passions and hobbies. There was this something I heard the other day, and he was talking about how he doesn't fear losing like his money or his businesses because he learned everything. So if all of it goes down, he can build it all back up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also like as long as it's not illegal, he doesn't land in jail, blah blah blah. But like if all of it goes back down, he has the skills, he has the knowledge, he has the connections to be able to build. Nobody can take your knowledge from you.
That's my
Like
point.
that is yeah. So do everything, learn as much as possible within the realms of everywhere. Even my journaling, like you don't know how journaling, even small things, you don't know how small things that you do, small things that you like, small things that you invest into is going to be able to take you to wherever later, or whatever skill is going to be applicable in whatever weird, strange sense of life later. So it's
Yeah.
like, do everything, know everything. My little plant hobby, now at work, like I'm connecting with people over like plants, which is crazy.
And that's the way God works. And it's so
Yeah.
not frustrating, it's so interesting to see. It's so interesting. Like even selling, like doing fundraisers back when I was younger. I did a fundraiser in the 6th grade and essentially it was Qdoba gift cards, but Africans don't eat Qdoba. So I started telling them that please just donate $10 to me, right? And then I just gave them, but the majority of them were like, keep, I don't want it, Jerry. So then I knew that if you want Nigerians to do something, majority of the time, they don't mind giving the money. They just don't want what you're selling.
Yeah,
So
so it's emotional?
no, I used to tell them to donate the money to me. Can you donate $10? So when the youth were selling shirts, I don't want to buy your shirt. Okay, ma, can you donate $20 to me?
Mm.
And they're like, okay, no problem. And then they'll end up giving you like 50.
Right.
And it's like, it's more than you asked for just
Mhm.
because they know what you're putting it in for. They just don't want the
The
product.
cause. And that's the thing as well, especially now that I work in nonprofits, people love to donate towards the cause. They just don't want, not all the time does there have to be a product,
Mhm.
which is so true. Like people want something to emotionally like, or just even know that they're a part of,
Yeah.
and they're helping build, and people are nice like that.
Mhm.
And it's a big lesson.
Yeah, and the youth, I don't think they understood the concept of it. So they're like, Dami, no. And I'm like, just go ask them, like, donate this money. You see what we're doing. Donate. Dami, it doesn't work like, yes, it does.
Yeah.
So, like, needless to say, like, all of those things I did when I was younger, that's what helps me now. Like, helps me to know that, okay, this is how people's mind works. I know that if you know somebody and you trust them and they say, I'll give you the money next week, when you give that product, then when you give them the product, they'll give you what you asked for. They'll be like, okay, take the money. And be like, okay, thank you. So it's just a lot of things where you just have to understand.
Yeah.
I remember people will buy Sia. I'll give them the Sia. It's a 2, like maybe 3 months later, they're like, I owe you money. You owe me money?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know, it's just very interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for everything that all the businesses that I have done. I'm very grateful for them and the knowledge that they teach you, because you never know the knowledge that you're going to need. One thing I learned about God is that God could place a law 100 years ago, 100 years back, just because he knew that it's going to favor you.
Right.
Just for that, only that fact. The law could probably never be touched ever, but just for the fact that he knew you needed it,
Right.
he put it in place. And I just feel like that is so beautiful. Like he'll put somebody in a workplace just because of you. And when you get there, when they do what God have ordained them to do, they can leave that workplace the next day. But as long as they did what God needed them to do, That's the most important thing. And their
Yeah.
job is done. When I realized that that's how God works, I was like, man, you are really a good father because what?
And sometimes it's like that. Like, even at work, I was talking about it, like, I think a few weeks ago on this podcast as well, where I just mentioned that like, sometimes you're positioned in places, not even for you, but for the next person.
Mhm.
And I think about that as well. Like, not only did God place someone somewhere for me, right now, but God has placed me here for someone else later.
Definitely.
So it's not even like I should sit in this moment and be like, oh, I'm so lucky to be able to have this opportunity and just like relish in that. But
Hmm.
even like take it up seriously because I know that there's someone else that's going to come behind me
This
that
coming
is
up.
coming to take this space as well, or that's going to need my help or going to need the wisdom that I'm learning. So I need to take it seriously.
Yeah,
Like, I think that is just so humbling. And I think that's true. I
and
think
very
God
much
works
so.
in like mysterious ways. True, true. And
I just love it.
you just never know.
You
You
never
never
do.
know. And you just have to take the small things
And
seriously.
appreciate it and be
Yeah.
grateful. And just know that even every season of your life, there's a reason for it. My friend told me, she said, life is rather a blessing or a lesson. You just have to pick which one it is. Sometimes it
Mm-hmm.
can be both. Like, it's so, so beautiful.
Mm-hmm. You know, I read a lot and I listen to a lot of like self-help books and I read a lot of self-help things as well. And that's what they talk about all the time. Like that's the difference between a winner and a victim. Like in life, bad things will happen. Like that's a guarantee. Like life will not always go your way because it's life. Like let's be for real.
Mm.
But winners, they look at it as an opportunity to get to the next level. And victims use it to like stunt them. And you can use it in almost every single thing that you go through, but people don't like to talk about that because in some cases it can be extremely insensitive.
Yeah.
But I think that when you are in like situations, you have to be completely aware of the fact that either I use this thing to help me grow and become a better person, or I allow this thing to, like an infection, like fester and like
Hmm.
spread and take over all places of my life.
Yeah.
What do I do? How do I do it?
Yeah. It's very, very interesting. Then the last thing I guess I've been snacking on is just understanding purity. Understanding that purity is not just keeping yourself till marriage, it's a whole lot of other things.
What is it?
Like your thoughts, your intentions, everything,
Your body,
your body, the way you dress,
your words,
your words, your text messages, everything. It's just,
your intentions.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot, and I guess people just don't talk about it. One thing I wish Christians talked about more was purity, just because the fact that I feel like it's something that a lot of young Christians probably go through
Hmm.
and have questions about, like honest conversations about, and nobody talks about it.
Right.
And I feel like it is something that needs to be talked about because even, even I feel like even I don't even know if the Bible says it, but purity is one of those things where it's very hard if you're not conscious about it and intentional. You have to be very intentional to be pure.
Hmm.
So just understanding that, because like majority of the time it's like, okay, keep your virginity, okay, and like how do we do that? What are the
Navigate it.
things to do? Like, what do you suggest? But
Yeah.
like, it's just I had that conversation. Is when I was younger that like I had that like epiphany
Hmm.
about it, but like ever since then, it's like, okay, could somebody explain it to me more, But like, thank God for Instagram and thank God that Instagram,
Not thank God for Instagram.
God
Really?
uses, yes. Did you see how your ChatGPT said that my Christian following is modest? Like, imagine ChatGPT, the internet saying your Instagram following is modest. No, but yeah, thank God for Instagram. It could be addictive, but
That's true though, but that's with anything. And
yeah.
also, I've canceled the Bible study, BTW. Hannah's gonna have to sit on the side somewhere because this conversation is good. But speaking of, oh man, I've lost it. But it's so interesting your take on it because that's it with anything. Like, anything is not inherently good or bad. It's
Mm-hmm.
how you use it.
Yeah,
That's the
definitely.
beginning and the end of it. So it's interesting to hear you because obviously you use Instagram in a good way that
Yeah.
is helping you. But yes, continue with your thank God with.
Thank God for Instagram. The Instagram is like, if I say something God says, okay, let me put this girl's Instagram feeds to sprinkle what I want to talk about and then preach it to her like that. And it is so beautiful. So like Instagram will talk, like there's a lot of things that I watch on my Instagram that talks about these purity things and talks about ways to be pure, talks about things to do or things not to do, how to practicalize it, how to not practicalize it. So it's just so beautiful, like to have that also. So yeah, I feel like that's something that Christians, I feel like it needs to be a seminar for young Christians. I wish that people in the church, when they got into relationships, I watched a video today and the lady said, I've never heard this before. She said that even before her boyfriend proposed to her, they were in marriage counseling. I've never heard that. And she was like, it's so good. Cause I was like, then I was like, it's true. Like just having that, like words of like having somebody look over your relationship. How are you guys doing? What are you guys doing? Is there something you guys want me to talk about? Do you guys want to pray? Like just having that foundation. Cause that's literally the foundation of any
Yeah.
relationship. When you guys are boyfriend, girlfriend, or if you
You know,
guys are
that
courting.
way makes sense to me. That way makes perfect sense
Yes.
to me. If we know that
Yes.
we're already going to get married and you're gonna propose to me anyway, let's start what we need to start on time. And
Yes.
then like you can propose to me anytime after. Me too. Like I want to know that like I mean obviously we're gonna be together, right? But I want to know like okay, we've entered this new stage where I'm proposing to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you know we start wedding planning before maybe I get proposed to, like soft wedding planning
Yeah.
before I even get proposed to, and I know that okay, like within whatever time, like he's actually gonna formally propose to me.
Mm-hmm.
But we're in that wedding, like, but it's all about the way you think about it. Like different people have completely different thoughts about it. And going even back to the purity thing, I think it's so interesting you say it's intentional because I also think God deals with everyone differently. I think in this season, I'm learning about purity not intentionally. But I know
Mm.
that if I wanted to be pure, you have to do it like with an intentional mind, right? But I'm learning so much about purity non intentionally. Like, why don't I like think some certain thoughts? Because I realize those thoughts don't yield fruit that I want.
Yeah.
Like things like that. Why don't I say some certain words? Because I realize one word can be a seed that can take root.
Mm-hmm.
And the roots can go so far you don't even realize.
Yeah.
So I like how God does that. Like with some people, he goes very, very in depth with you. Like he goes very, very in depth and you have to be very intentional with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably work like that. But with me, I'm always like, I'm a thinker. Like I'm
Yeah.
a thinker. So if I'm like trying to figure out a concept at once, I might not get it. But it has to be something that is like revealed to me like over time. So I value, I think it's important to have this conversation like this because a lot of people listen and they're like, how do I do this? Well, I can't tell you how you do that.
Yeah.
Find what works for you
That
and then lean
literally
into it
is
because
it.
I can tell you advice and it not work for you at
It
all
won't.
because that's not how God wants to work with you. Like, you do you. Like, how does God work with you? Figure it out that way.
Yeah.
That's not between me and you. I've already figured out how God works with me, and that's why we're working very well. But
Yeah.
you have to figure it out yourself.
It's very important. I know that from a young age, with me, I think, I don't know, I guess I experienced something in 2018. That year, it was really me, and God, 2018, 2019. And that's a season where God really had to deal with me. And I'm not saying I'm perfect, but like, so I had to stop watching a lot of movies that I was watching. I had to stop listening to music I was listening to. So I don't even listen to secular music and movies. That's why I watch a lot of Korean movies because I could literally watch a movie and see something I don't like. I don't like this. Okay, Holy Spirit, what about 5 more minutes? We see something else. Tell me, I don't like this. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. And I have to turn it off. I'll be so sad. But it's like one thing I learned and one thing that God taught me is that my eyes and my ears are portals.
Oh yeah, they're gates.
They are, and it depends on what you let in.
Yeah.
And I went through a season and I had to tell myself today, you're going to have to go back to that season. Cause I'm very soon you'll enter again. But that season where I just only watch Christian movies. And it's hard to find Christian movies. I watch a lot of Korean movies too. And it's just because I'd be so lazy. I can't watch them in their language. I have to watch them in dubbed. And for some weird reason, they feel like the dub needs to be very violent. So the ones I've been watching is too violent for me. So I have to kind of wind back on it and go back to Christian movies. But Christian movies, the Christian industry needs to do better in getting movies that people want to watch and in places that they can watch it. I know that there's Pureflix, but it's like I'm already paying money for Netflix.
Yeah, right.
How am I supposed to be paying this amount for Pureflix too? Like, I feel like there needs to be another way or another avenue that we could watch movies that glorify God and glorify help our spirits, edify our spirits, and still feel good. Like, okay, I'm watching a movie. So it's just really
It's very
weird.
interesting you say that. So like I share the same sentiment because remember even today we were talking about like Asian movies
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to keep watching things that are corrupting my mind. And it's
Yeah.
not even like it's not even like they're corrupting my mind, but I just don't want to watch some certain things anymore. Like this
Yeah.
isn't doing anything for me. Like this isn't teaching me anything valuable. Why am I watching this? I feel like the Christian industry does need to do better, but I feel like sometimes we make such a huge differentiation on like Christian, non-Christian, right?
Yeah.
Like there's this huge gap. Like it's either you're a sinner and you're horrible and you're not even a Christian at all, or you're like the holiest of holy of holy of holy of holy,
Yeah.
right? And I don't like that because I feel like there should be soft like Christian content.
Yeah.
I don't want corny Christian movies where
That's
it's
the
like the
thing.
same like
The
message
same.
all the time. No.
Mm-hmm.
But how about we just make some stuff that has like a good heart? Like I'm watching Gilmore Girls
Yes.
right now. And it is
Yes.
it's like just good, wholesome family content. Like that's clean, it's not bad.
Like,
Like
this
this
is
is us.
us.
Exactly. Right. It's not
Yes.
bad. It's not going to corrupt my mind. Like just even this podcast, like that's what it's supposed to be for. Like I don't want to be coming on here and talking about sex and like you can
Yeah.
find so many different podcasts that do just that for you. But I want you to be able to come here and be like, okay, it's going to be wholesome things or what
Yes.
Fikayo's learning or the people around Fikayo, what she's learning. And again, like it even goes back to, I tell people I live in a very, very carefully curated bubble. There is evil in this world and I intentionally do not want to sit within that evil. So I protect myself from everything, from the what I follow, to the music I listen to the influences I allow around me, to the friends that I'm around. If you're not soft, like I don't want to be around you. If you're not like a good example, I don't want to be around you. If you're not I want to say people would say like if you're not leading me to Christ, but I mean it doesn't even necessarily have to be you're not. But technically, it comes down to that.
Yeah.
But like if you're not edifying me, if you're not like making me think, if you're not like bringing up business ideas, if we're not moving towards the same direction, why are we friends? Why? You gotta like it. That's just what it is.
It makes sense.
And
really
I don't want like
sense.
life is hard, but I don't want it any harder than it has to be. So I protect my circle. I really do, and I live in this happiness and loving world because like that's what I'm putting out as well.
You have to.
That's
like,
what I'm putting out.
My dear, I know. That's why I watch those Korean movies.
Yeah,
like they're not like Christian, but some Korean movies they be Christian just a little bit. I watched I watched a Korean movie and they were singing. They're singing, maybe it was What a Friend We Have in Jesus in Korean.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my goodness, this is so cute.
I know this song.
I know this melody from somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, like something that movies that don't have excessive sex inside or don't have sex at all, don't have cursing, don't have things that I'm not aligned with, like movies that are just like you said, heartwarming. Like movies about, I know that for a while I was watching a girl she was just interacting with her horses. And to me, that is so nice too. There's some things where you could even learn in those type of situations. It's just when it gets all crazy and dark, I'm like, this is just not for me. Like, I watched the whole movie and I was enjoying the movie. That's when, like, they just random stuff. I was like, yeah, I have to turn this off.
Yeah.
So it's just like, if we could find movies like that. And the issue with me is I used to look at the ratings like PG-13, 3 PG this. So I used to watch a lot of movies that are PG-13. But until I realized that PG-13 now have sex scenes inside too. So it's like, what are we feeding these kids? Like, if this is what PG-13
and me,
is.
I'm 20 years old and I don't want to be fed this.
So I'm going to year 7 to be watching movies as a grown adult. And it's like, at a point I was like, well, whatever it is, however I'm going to do it. I can't be watching these types of things, but that's what it is. Like, at the age of, I don't want to watch these things. So what about a 13-year-old or 14-year-old where I'm thinking that, okay, this rating has it. I didn't watch anything with R, MA, none of those. I'm going to PG-13 movies and this is what I'm seeing. So it's very, very discouraging at that time just to even watch movies. So I'm going back to watch the same movies. I've watched The Greatest Snowman like 3 times already. Stuff like that.
I just, it like blows my mind. And then like, even like Christian podcasts, they're like God and Jesus every day. Or like crying. Or like, how is God making you suffer today? It's like,
That's not fair.
I don't want to hear this.
That's not fair. That's not encouraging.
No, it's not encouraging. It's really so sad. So that it's like you're always this like, "Ugh, I just can't do it. I can't do it." So that's
No.
why like I made this podcast. So it's like soft Christian, like, and I'm telling people I'm not your Christian influencer. Like, I'm not telling you that I'm a pastor's wife. Like, you relax and don't expect that from me as well. Like,
Yeah.
but at least you can come here and you can expect that we're going to talk about like regular things, and you're going to be able to feel God or whatever, and know like, where my morals and my values stand
Yeah.
without it feeling like you're getting overtaken by it.
Yeah.
Like, it should be a good morning drive podcast.
No, definitely.
Like, I expect my listeners to be thinking about everything that we're talking about and how it's applicable in their lives, and then like being like, yes, I agree here, and no, that's, and things like that, instead of them like having to tell the kids in the backseat to cover their ears.
Yes, yes. Even things that children should be able to listen to. Like, oh my gosh, this morning my mom was listening to a podcast and this is what they said and I loved it.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. And that's what kids need. Like that's what they're getting fed everything else. Like things they're not supposed to get fed. And at least just having somewhere, some places where
That's safe.
they know that this is a safe place
And
for
it's not
me.
too Christian. Like, it's still normal, but it's safe. Like, I
Yes.
can trust my
I could play this around my parents and know that they won't be like, what are you listening to? So
yeah, there's so many ideas I have. Like, it's just that I'm not like, I don't even want to be a Christian mom, to be honest with you, because people are like, I can't even do it. But like, there's so many things, like Christian dubbed things, like Christian yoga, Christian meditation. Like, that's something that I thought about doing on here, like Christian meditation, because people meditate.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
And
what the word
praying
says.
and
Meditate
like,
on the word.
yeah. So if like I meditate, right? And I'm a like, I like meditation. I understand the idea, and sometimes even praying in tongues is meditation, depending on how it's explained to you. But like, I think it would be really cool to see someone do like Christian meditation or a Christian Zumba, like,
I
or
wonder how
like
that's gonna
saved
look.
Zumba
I
or
know lots of places
something.
used to do Zumba.
Yeah, and I think like just knowing that this is safe, like you're fine, your beliefs and your morals and your values are going to be respected here. Because I think sometimes in society it's not. Like, I believe that everyone should be able to express themselves however, but I do believe that sometimes like there should be safe spaces for you to be able to like,
Feel like a person.
yeah, and
Feel your feels.
yeah, and like have your own personal boundaries being respected. And sometimes it's not like that in society anymore. So
No.
I have no idea. I really do hope that the Christian community can get it together too, though, because if y'all start making stuff, I'll
I'm
be there.
telling you, that's one thing I learned when I was younger. Like, when God calls you, it's not everybody he's going to call to be a pastor or a preacher.
Yeah.
Sometimes we need people in the fashion industry. It's hard to find clothes, modest clothes. It's hard. We need people in the fashion industry. We need people in law. We need people in business. We need people
And
in nonprofits, the movie industry.
Yeah.
Like, there are ways that God can spread people out everywhere. It's not everybody that's gonna be like, oh, I'm not Christian enough because I'm not a pastor. He doesn't say you have to be a pastor to be Christian. Like, you don't have to be a pastor, Mrs. to be Christian. You could have
It's the idea. It's so sad what is happening in the world. It's the ideologies, the heart posture. Like, be aligned to want to help people. Be aligned to want to like see people do well in life. Like, be aligned in wanting to think outside of yourself and your immediate vicinity.
Yeah.
I was talking to mommy about this, like how maybe later on we could start a nonprofit where we bring girls from Nigeria or whatever and we sponsor them through school.
Right.
And like, obviously, like, it's going to be a lot of work, but that heart posture of like, I want to help people beside my immediate vicinity. And I understand, and I have enough faith in God to understand that I'm going to be fine monetarily. And even money is not even really the big like thing. Like, it's not. It's about your impact on this world and how you're able to share God's light.
And God looks at those things, and He loves those things.
It's not even me. Like, me, when people ask me all the time, like, oh, like, why aren't you doing this thing? Like, don't you want God to reward you? No, I don't want God to reward me. I don't care. Like, God's gonna reward me either way. I'm his daughter. But like, I need him to be in this world. And if I can help him like be in this world even more, I need to do that.
It's the simple things, isn't it? It's Matthew that talks about you saw me and you didn't have clothes and you didn't clothe me. You saw I was
That's
hungry and you
crazy.
didn't feed
That's
me. And
horrible.
he says like all of these things and people are like, when did I do that? He was like, your brothers are on the street and they don't have clothes. They're homeless. Like, and you guys just drive past them. And it's like, that's what the Bible is literally saying. Your neighbor doesn't have food. Your neighbor, you can see your neighbor's bones. And now one day can you knock on their door and say, let me help you. You see that they can't pay rent. Let me help you this 1 month. Let me see what could we do. Can I pray
Your
for
heart is
you?
sour. Your heart is cold. It's not
A
good.
heart of
It's
stone.
not good, this world. And then that's literally God has called us into like becoming a light, to be able to quench darkness. Like imagine like the world is so dark and you are the only light. Or just a few of us, that really follow God and really love God and really want to know him more.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are just that light for him.
Yes.
Like and it really grieves my heart, I guess, because I feel like a lot of Christians are so self-centered in the way that it just seems like they just want to be portrayed or seen as like these Christian people.
They
And it's
don't
so
want
sad
like
because it's
that.
fake. And
And
they're like horrible people.
that's why the Bible says, that's why the Bible says that, oh, it's so scary. This is the scariest verse in the Bible to me. Depart from me if I never knew you. And they'll say
Depart
about
from
God,
me for I never knew you.
uh-huh.
I was afraid that you weren't getting cut.
Sorry, depart from me for I never knew you. And the people are like, but God, I did all of these things in your name. And he's like, bro, I don't even know you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so you Christians, something's going on. If you're doing all of these things, your heart posture isn't aligned with God. You're not in communication with him. He doesn't know you. And that's the thing that God had taught me since I was very, very young. When you have a candle and there's a row of candles, it doesn't cost you anything. It doesn't take away from your light. It doesn't quench your fire to hand that other candle and light up another one. It doesn't do anything to you. And that other one could take itself and go and light up millions while you're lighting up millions
At work, I
too.
have a thing that says literally one seed can plant a whole forest.
Literally, it can. It doesn't take anybody anything
Yeah.
to be that light in somebody's
Yeah.
life. To just tell somebody, I love you. I remember when we used to carpool in middle school, and one of my friends' dad said, "Today I want you guys to go and tell people 5 things. Compliment 5 people today." And I was like, 5 people? That's a lot of people. But that stuff makes people's day.
Heck yeah. Oh my God, even let me tell you, this week I went to go get coffee and someone paid for me in front. I'm telling you, I could have wept.
Uh-huh.
And it was just like the kindness. Like people are still in this world
That are
kind.
kind.
Like
I did
that
that
is
one
so
time.
sweet.
Yes, I did that one
It
time.
made my day.
It will
set the
make your
tone.
day. It makes anybody day. I did that one time. I put $100 in Dunkin'. I just told them, just pay for however it
Yeah.
carries. And he was like, "Are you sure?" Yeah, go for it.
That's amazing.
Just do it for whoever it carries and stuff like that. It just like you never know. Like that could have been the person's last cent that they're like, God, I'm just going to. I just have to get this thing. And then you use that money and it's like, oh my gosh, like somebody did that. Then the thing is, acts of kindness are contagious. They'll do the same thing for somebody else one day too. Like it's just, man, it's good to do good things for people.
Yeah, people don't realize how far their impact goes.
It does. Like it doesn't. You won't notice until maybe years down where somebody be like, Dammi, you did this thing. And because you did this thing, this is how it impacted me. This is how I thought. I'm like,
And
people
it's
do
what
that.
a way to live a life.
Huh?
Like what a way to live a life.
Yeah,
Like this is how you should be living life.
I'm like, I did that. I did that. Or sometimes you don't even see, like I teach kids. So with the kids, like you don't see the impact that you have on them until it's like maybe down the line, we're like, dang, this is what you did for me. And I'm so grateful. Seeing different, like even if it's the slightest mood changes in them. What's wrong? Auntie, I didn't eat this morning. Oh my gosh, my baby, let me go get you something to eat. Or Auntie, I had one girl, she was crying because she said her dad didn't pay attention to her that morning. Yeah. And it's like, dang, these kids, like, they have feelings too.
Yeah, and they go through it. They
do. Oh, so they're like, Dammi, this is so depressing. I'm like, what's depressing? What happened? My teacher was giving me so much homework. I'm so sorry about that. Like, is there anybody to help you? And you don't know, like, although they're young, you might think they won't remember you.
They do.
They do.
It takes one person to take interest in you that can change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
That's crazy. One adult. It takes one adult
to
say, like, I'm going to sow into you properly.
Yes. Oh my gosh. God help me. I just would love to do that. Even in my church, that's one thing that I would love for them to do. And I've been shouting it to them,
Mentoring.
a mentoring program.
I've been shouting mentoring for my own church too.
Oh
But
my
people
God.
don't realize like
The
what,
impact.
yeah, people don't
Like,
realize it.
imagine the person I went to her house to go do I don't know if we can
Yeah.
share names here,
No, you can't.
but the person I went to her house to go do the fashion thing, her and I were talking, like, imagine if she had two mentors and we say, hey, can you take these two
Mentees.
can you please take these two mentees and train them? And then you can report to the pastor, this is how this girl is doing. This is how this boy is doing. You take this, you take these you take these males and mentor them. These are your mentees. Whatever the fruits of it, we'll see your fruits through these people. And you have that responsibility. You take them out. This person wants to be a doctor.
Yes, with this person.
Literally.
Me, I don't know. I really just wish communities would do better.
Yeah.
And because like, I feel like the church really does have, because I think about this and I rack my brain about it because I'm really like actually disappointed by the church. But like, I think maybe because the church has so much like on them, because not only do they have the religious, spiritual obligation to their congregation, right? But they have everything else.
Yeah.
But I feel like they should. I mean, and I feel like churches, I don't know.
Or delegate somebody to it because the pastor's job is a lot.
It is a lot. But I feel like the church should have, I'm talking about free daycare programs. Maybe you have to be in our church for a whole year. But we have young adults that we can pay, even if it's minimum wage. We can pay these young adults and they can come in after work or whatever, or they can intern or whatever, and they can watch over your kids and we'll make sure that they're CPR certified. Cause come on, like there's dinero in the church. But like, I feel like the church should be doing more. Like,
people are struggling with this daycare. Somebody said they have to pay $500 per kid per week.
Yeah.
He said, if that's the case, I might as well take them to a boarding school and no, I don't have to worry about nothing else. Like,
at this point, yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah, I feel like churches really need to community and understand what you like. But the church has so much on their hands though. It's so, because no one else is doing these things, except for nonprofits. But even at that, nonprofits don't even get that much help because they're not government funded. But like the church is a nonprofit as well though. But like, I would love to see a church that has a daycare program. I would love to see a church that has like a garden, like a community garden. And maybe every week they come in and teach kids how to garden because gardening is so essential. And I believe that it's God's imprinted therapy, gardening. Yeah. Because like, first off, it relaxes you. Like doctors can tell if you like do stuff like gardening because like your levels are different. And then like it teaches you patience. It teaches you cultivation. It teaches you seasons. Like there's so much of God's word just in gardening alone that you can teach kids.
Yeah, my kids did gardening. I don't know what
That's beautiful.
I was watering those plants. One day I got to church, they threw them all away. I was so sad. I said, what happened to my plant?
Oh, they threw away this plant.
They did, and they were growing, so they're so excited. They're asking me for these updates. Because I was crying that day. I came back, where are my baby's plants? Somebody threw them away. Who was it?
Me too. Like I'm even like, oh man, me too. I want to get more involved in like their children.
Yeah.
And like teach them a lot of these skills that I'm learning. Because these are things I'm going to teach to my kids. My kids are gardening. I'm so sorry. Like that, they're doing it. They're going to garden every year.
And these things, it builds their brain too from the ages. Then I watched a video from ages like when they're born to 10, it builds their brain. And these kids, they pick up things fast. Like, especially those kids that know the Bible. Sometimes they'll say something, I'm like, how do you even know that? Like, I'm shocked. But like, yeah, the kids know and they pick up every single thing. Yeah. They know how you respect them. They know if you respect them. Like, the other day I was in church, I played musical chairs with 4-year-olds. Like, imagine that. Like, Auntie Dammi, move. Auntie Dammi, you're too old. I'm not old. I'm only 6 years old, okay? And then like one of the kids just playing with my hair. Like, and it's a boy that was playing with my hair, just sitting there. I try to move back. I'll try to move away. He'll drag me back and just be playing with. I'll just be laughing. Or it's just like one of the kids, like that has maybe special needs, just coming to me and just giving me and just knowing that, okay, they have,
safe.
yeah,
you're safe.
Literally. or like would crack me down around the children's church and just be running, just give me my hug. And when they're done with my hug, they don't mind. They'll go and do their own thing for the
Because
rest of
you're
the
important
day.
to them. That is so interesting
And you will
too.
never
No.
know.
And in their heart, and they too, they don't even have the words to articulate. They just know that in their heart, like you
You're
feel
there.
safe. You're there. I feel like, especially young people though, I feel like we have such an important role to play in life because we are that age gap between the young people, like the
No.
children and the adults. We are the gap, and there's such a big gap already. Like, we are the gap. So we're supposed to be those people that talk to the young people and then are able to use the words and the experience that we have to relay that information to the old people and let them know these are how these kids are. But I don't know. I find that in places sometimes we're just not even taken seriously because we're young.
We're young.
But it's really sad. But I just don't know. Like,
yeah, but it's very important. Like teens, someone was telling me about how like one of the kids that she sneaks out, like maybe like a 14-year-old sneaks out to her boyfriend's house. And I'm sitting here like, how? Just how, like, there's just no mentorship. And that's why one thing I will always do is thank God for Christ Festivals. So Christ Festival was just like a dance group that I was in when I was younger. And
what, the 2 women started it, right?
2 women started it.
And that's...
And they raised us
of your life, huh?
like we were their children.
Yeah.
Like Saturdays, we never wanted to be home. So we'll dance in church. And then that's when they'll take us out, like go to hotels, actually have just honest conversations.
Yeah.
And they were very, very vulnerable with us. And it just helped us so much. And then all of the girls, we formed like a sistership, like a sisterhood. And then to the point where people like, can we join? And we're like, no. Until we have to all check ourselves and our Christianity. Be like, okay, maybe we're like being mean. And then we started letting girls in. But like and to us, that was our home. Like that was our family. Like if anything was wrong, we knew who to contact. Right. We knew how to contact. Did we fight sometimes? Like, yeah. Would they all sit us down? Yes. Like, would we surprise each other? It was just like family. Yeah. Like knowing that even going out to hotels, going out on adventures, we just knew that this was our safe zone. Yeah. This was our family. And for me, during those years, that was so huge to me. Like, I'm sure that really impacted a good amount of my, like, just the way I was raised, I guess. Yeah. So although with my mother there, like these 2 women really, really helped.
They were younger women. They were youth.
They were youth.
Age-ish.
I just don't have I would love to do something like that in the church, but I just don't think I have the time and the patience. Yeah. But it was good. And even like in teen church when I was younger, there's this one lady, she pulled me aside. She said, Dammi, as a woman, it's good to wear deodorant. And it's not like, and stuff like that, it could be insultive to you, but it's like, okay, let me check myself too. And then because some people, they really need deodorant. It's serious, but nobody wants to tell them. But having those people there, you know that, okay, well, I know that this is my person. I know that I can feel safe with this person. Sitting you aside and telling you the truth. Yes. And I don't see it as an insult, like, but they're telling you the truth and you're able to reflect. Like
and receive it and reflect.
A lot of these young people, it's not like, and that's something that God had to teach me. It's not like a lot of them need boyfriends or need girlfriends. A lot of them just need somebody.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it. They're just lonely.
Yeah. That's what therapy was for me. That's what therapy was for me. I have to explain it to people all the time. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm fine. I just need someone. Yeah. Just need someone to listen. That's their job. Just to listen to me talk and kind of help me work out my emotions and my headspace. Yeah. And it's so important. Yeah.
Yes, like, especially somebody, I used to be like, who could I even call? Like, somebody that just doesn't know anything about your life, just to give you an outside point of view. So, like, I know that then I wanted to call, like, Christian mentors that, like, I guess they didn't really know me too much, but it's like, am I tripping? Like, please just tell me I'm not tripping. Like, just hear what I'm thinking, and then you let me know what you think.
That's literally what therapy is for me. Literally what therapy is for me. Especially since I'm such a thinker. I've always been. So, it really helps me. But I think for me, it was always like, it was therapy and gem. Yeah. Therapy and gem. And again, a nonprofit started by a woman who was like, I want these girls to succeed. And I know and I understand the impact of a person in someone's life.
So even when people like, you guys didn't dance group, we're like, I mean, you guys didn't dance group. We're like, well, okay. Yeah. But next week practice, we'll be there. Okay. But they're all happy and jolly. Like,
Yeah.
I really, really, really love. If I could start something like that, especially in my church or just a mentorship group, I think that I would love that.
Yeah.
If I had the time to dedicate every Saturday for practices and stuff, and just take a few ladies or some boys, that would be so good.
Yeah.
And just like instill the word into them and just help them.
And not even
People
like in a
so
harsh way, but
No.
like through love, like through.
Sometimes you're the only Bible somebody reads.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth of it. That God, I want to love like Auntie Dammi loves,
Yeah.
or I just want to look at this like Auntie Dammi. If Auntie Dammi was able to do this, I could do this too.
Yeah.
So like when people tell me that they got married a virgin, I just get so happy. Like, oh my gosh, they can do that. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
This makes me so excited.
Yeah.
But just people that you can see yourself in, and just to
That
really
is so
help
important.
you.
That is so important.
It is.
That is so important. Now, even the whole virginity thing, like I don't know if I'd tell anyone like abstain. I mean, wait, first off, let me clarify. I would definitely tell everyone to abstain, or but like even the way that like I understood it then was different. Like the way I would explain it to abstain now is different than anything I've ever heard. I would tell you, like, make sure that your first time is special.
Yeah.
Like things like that. Like when you do, sex is not a bad thing, but make sure when you do it, it is with someone who you know deeply loves you and is committed to you and wants to be with you for a long time, because you're giving off a part of yourself that is vulnerable, that is valuable, and nobody should ever have a piece of you, because you're too good for that. As a woman, as a man, you're too good for that. Like, let it be someone who will cherish you. And who else other than your husband?
Yes, definitely.
Who else other than someone who like has
dedicated their life to you.
So maybe there's a girl who's a bit more curious or whatever. Like maybe like me, right? That's a bit more curious and I like to wander. Like at least someone telling me like, hold it for someone who really cares. So that even if you get in that position where you and a guy are really, really close, you're like, is this how I want to do it? Like, is this who I want to give myself to?
Yeah.
Is that I understand the worth of this thing. It's not even like my parents were telling me it's bad. But anyway, besides the point, it just all goes back to like having several different people explain like maybe the same concept to you and the way that they understand it, and then you pick the way
you want it. I was sorry.
It's fine.
Cut that out.
She doesn't even, it's fine.
I see how I explained it in a way that was so lovely to me then.
Yeah.
She said that back then that they used to do a party.
Yeah.
And when the man wants to buy his wife, like quote unquote buy his wife, like when she wants to pay the bride price, that when the girl is a virgin, they double the bride price, or it becomes much more, and just like a party thing, and people are so excited about it. And I was like, that is so cool. And she explained like soul ties and all of that. Yeah. But like, when she explained that part, I was like, that is so cool. I want that to be something. And then mommy's like, don't worry, Dammi, on your wedding day, on your traditional, the whole church will hear that you're a virgin. I'll tell everybody. And I was just looking at her like, sis, what? And that excitement mommy has is also just another reason. Like, I need to do this thing. But like, obviously, like, God is the main reason. Like, I just know that purity is all he needs. But like, just other ways just excite you. Like, mommy even saying that, just knowing that, okay, oh, this lady's actually excited for this thing too. She's like, don't worry, Dalaga will know everybody. And I just be looking at her like, okay, okay, that's fine. But like,
I like that. I love that. Like taking different ways to look at something, because everybody's different. Every child is different. Everybody's different. So,
everybody is.
Like, and then there's some kids who that like you worry about because you're like, this kid has never gone outside. Like, this kid is never gonna have a boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't like use scare tactics for sex because I've heard people who like they were so afraid of sex growing up that when they got married, sex became a very serious issue for them. And you don't want to do that either, because that's going to be a very big issue. It was a very big issue. So it's like, I think it's so important. Like
something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Just at the right time.
At the right time, but not something to constantly fear. So it's really important, I think, that like, we look at our kids. Yeah. We look at our kids, we look at our communities, and we look for the people that we best serve. So right now, even me, I'm looking for people who are probably overthinkers, who are constantly in their head. That's why I'm doing podcasts and not YouTube. Because overthinkers usually, they're in their head. They're probably thinking, they'll think through my podcast, not sit down and watch it. I'm not entertaining. And they're thinking, this is a thinking platform. So I don't know, but we are sitting at an hour. I think this is probably one of my longest podcasts, which is crazy because we were supposed to be doing a Bible study.
Girl, it's
I
a
have a
girl.
Bible in front of me,
I'm
which is
telling you, I'm just looking at
crazy.
your Bible like, okay, sis.
I was like, what are we gonna talk about? I have no
I
idea.
told you I was so nervous.
But this
But
conversation was so good.
yeah, no, we're having one more conversation because I was like, how could I fit this in? One other thing I'm snacking on is
This is so funny. Okay.
I sent you a video on IG today. I don't think you
I
watched
did
it.
on friendship.
Yes,
Yeah.
morning friendships. I feel like,
I talked to Jennifer about that video today too.
yeah, I think it's so interesting. Like, it's really a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, especially if it's your best friend. I watched I think 2 videos on, I told you Instagram is speaking to me yesterday again. 2 videos.
LOL.
But yeah, like, oh my goodness. Just even that.
Jennifer and I promised we'd never fight today. We're like, we're never gonna fight.
I'm telling you, because it's like, in as much as anything, that's like your girlfriend. Like,
Yeah.
it is your
Yeah.
girlfriend.
Yeah.
Like, so it's just like, dang, it's like a breakup. Like,
No
a
one
really
teaches
tough,
you.
and nobody teaches
Nobody
you.
tells you.
And that was the scariest thing.
Because
But
you love them. And it comes from the same place.
yeah, like, when you used to explain that to me, I'm like, "God, what are you talking about?" I just sitting there crying. What are you even talking about?
About what?
Like, when my best friend had to, like, split up a little bit, like, you'd be like, Dami, don't worry. You're just mourning your friendship. And just mourn it properly. And I'm like, what is the meaning of this? My mom once said it. She said, Dami, you and this person were, like, dating. Like, it's gonna be a proper breakup. We weren't dating, though, but just like that friendship was that deep.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't sleep when we went out all the time. Like,
The love was there.
the love was literally there. So it was just like, dang. And I just thought that, like, it's something that to be talked about that I don't think anybody talks
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
And it's just something that is like, something that is just it's something that hurts a lot of people, but they don't even know how to justify it or even explain it either.
And God forbid you like take it and make it like malice or anger.
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people
Yeah.
do. They take the grieving of it
Yeah.
and make it into anger.
Yeah.
If like the person, I still love the person with all my heart. It's just that I guess the seasons of life, just that's what happened.
Yeah.
But like, it's not anything to be angry about. It's not anything.
And it's a
to
lesson.
Be, literally,
like it's gonna come back around. Like these things happen when it's gonna come back around. But like it's a lesson. Like you will grieve.
Yeah.
You will grieve. Whether
it might take
friendship,
time,
boyfriends, whatever. It happens like that. Do you want it to enter my podcast? They'll hear all of that. But it's a lesson. It really is a lesson. Like you will grieve friendships. And the first time I heard it was also on a podcast, like with an older woman, and she explained that like friendships are like relationships, and they are a relationship. Like they are a relationship, and people should start treating it like that. But we're raised to like make the epitome of friendships or relationships be boyfriends, and it's wrong.
Yeah, it's very wrong.
It's very wrong. Your friendships, your just like how you make time for your man, you need to make time for and that's one thing that I'm struggling with now too. Like, I really, really am, and my friends know like I'm working on it. But like, I've always been taught that it was like boys always.
Yeah.
So that was the one like I always treasured like male friendships. But it's the females that are gonna get you through it.
Yeah.
It's the females that are gonna get you through it. It's the ones that are gonna support you. It's the ones that's gonna love on you.
Yeah.
It's the females that are gonna get you through it.
Even family too. Like, even learning that too. Like today, even when you guys wanted to go so far, for some reason I was having these crazy cramps today, but I just had to get off my bed because I know that's what my friend would tell me. He'll tell me, "Dom, you can go out with your family right now. I don't care what you're doing. Go out and have fun with them." And I was like, "You guys go and enjoy your family time." So just also like knowing that, like also spending time with family.
And I always tell you guys, like I do tell you guys, like people will betray you. You have to be ready for it. And you can't even get upset about it because it's life. Like, this is what it is. People will betray you. Your family, though, the tendency is smaller that your family can betray you because they are your family.
Even if you guys are stuck by blood.
Yeah. But your family, too, can betray. Everyone is possible to betray.
But it's just their human nature.
It is. So you can't even be upset. You take it and you go. It's just like within family, you understand. It's just within, like, some people have horrible families where it's like, no, you guys shouldn't probably even be talking.
Yeah.
But like within our family, at least, I can definitely say y'all four are my priorities. And that's where it starts and that's where it ends. Like always. And that's how, as long as your family is healthy, like that's how it should always be.
That's what I was telling Tala, yes. Please, I think it's not. That's what I was telling somebody yesterday. I think for me, rarely enough, it's when we're getting older.
Yeah.
I was telling him I'm falling more in love with my siblings, and it's like because I guess like when we're all young, we used to fight and bicker. So now it's also just channeling that energy towards love.
I think it's because it's like a flower pot, right? So we were all growing in the same flower pot. I think now we're all in different pots.
Yeah, and the roots used to touch and used to
Yeah,
irritate each other.
exactly. Now we're all growing in different pots and all of us have our own different lives, but we're all still like lined up next to
hmm
each other. So we're able to see where each other's kind of, but like we're not touching. So I
Yeah,
respect Dami within the spaces that Dami occupies. And I also respect that she's not occupying my spaces. And
yeah,
I occupy my spaces and Dami respects that. But she respects that I'm not occupying her spaces.
yeah.
And everything is good because like nothing's
hmm
touching.
Yeah, everybody has their own room. Everybody's
Yeah.
doing their own thing.
Yeah.
They drive like so. Just like, especially knowing that, bro, when one of us moves out, we're never all going to be under the same roof for a long period of
Which is
time ever
crazy.
again.
Yeah.
So it's just like, dang. So just like enjoying and appreciating
These
these moments, yes, because there is not always. But before. Like that's why we're all trying to really make this travel together something that's fruitful because it's like by the time the next time we're going to travel, you'll probably be married, I'll probably be married, and we're like, okay, what if my husband doesn't want to travel? What if we do then?
Or even at
Or what if
that,
I'm pregnant and I'm 9 months pregnant? I can't travel.
yeah, or I don't even want it to be that we go to Nigeria because of a bad issue, because we lost a family member. I
Yeah.
really don't want that to happen as well. Like, I want us to go the first time at least to be on a happy note. And
hmm
then any time after, like, whatever happened, happened. And
Yeah.
whatever reason we have to go to Nigeria, we have to go to Nigeria.
hmm
But, like, I don't want it to be because of a sad moment, is
We
why
have
we
to
all have
all
to go for the
ponder
first
it.
time. That would be
Yeah.
bad.
That's one. I understand that too
Yeah.
because it won't be anything that's too fun. It's
No.
like, okay, we're trying, everybody's just
I just don't even
sad.
want that. I want to have a good experience where it's
Yes.
like
That's why
all
you
of
have
us are
to go.
present. we having.
Oh, that's why you best to go because it's just exciting. I think that since we're under the same house, like even doing things together, like when Maya comes back from break, being intentional and going out all together.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm also learning is be intentional going out with yourself too. That did I have myself. I just played a Korean movie, was eating my kimchi soup,
Oh, kimchi is so good.
like a kimchi stew and my rice and with some ramen, and I was just sitting there watching my Asian movie. I finished eating. The waiter dropped everything on the table. They didn't disturb me again. I ate my food. I left my tip and I walked out and I drove home.
Yeah.
And I was just so happy. Like,
Yeah.
so prioritizing spending time with yourself too.
Who was I talking to today? I think it was Jennifer. I was talking about how there's the business people, right? I listen to a lot of business stuff, and they were talking about like, so what do you do to rest? And he was like, he makes like daily pit stops. So like when he has lunch, it's like a pit stop for him to like rejuvenate, gather himself, have that moment and be intentional with that moment, enjoy that 30 minutes or whatever time it is, and then get back to work. And then dinner too, or his nighttime routine, like he really sits in his nighttime routine. And in the morning too, sits in the morning. So because of that, I'm giving myself daily pit stops. I don't need, but it's just enjoying the small things. Even in 2 weeks from now, I'm going to a wedding in Virginia or whatever. And I was like, I might as well just book for 2 nights and get like a whatever, like get a room and a hotel and my own hotel, everything, pay for it and take my car down there too. And whatever I want to do, I can do it.
That's what I do for my spring breaks. Like I spend the whole spring break in the hotel and I just rest, watch movies, go to the pool, get in the hot tub, eat free hotel breakfast, figure out myself for the day. And then when you come back, you're even just like, okay, I'm ready back for school. I always say that you always have to entertain the child in you. And I will forever say that. Like the other week, 2 weeks ago, I went to the water park. Like, and I was so happy. Before you knew it, it was almost 9 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, we have to go. So it's like, you always have to entertain that child in you because it's always still there.
Yeah.
You just have to entertain it and just feed it and love on that inner child. And then you could go around doing your adult stuff. But when you feed that inner child, even you be like, bro, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Like, I feel better, like mentally, physically, spiritually. I'm just better.
Yeah.
Like, just
I think that's my fear
relax.
too, though. Like, I don't want to, like, my inner child to die. So when I have kids, I don't know how to relate. That's scary. Like, I want to have, like, I want to, and like, we all die. And I say this, we all will die. So like, how do you want to live? I want to
You
live
have to have
happy.
fun.
I want to
Let's
live,
go on
enjoy myself.
vacation.
Yes.
Enjoy yourself. Even if, and that's one thing, I'm such a saver. But when it comes to memories, making memories, intangible memories, I'm all for how much we have to spend.
Yeah.
Like, let's make these memories. I could always get money back. Money, you could always get it back. You
Yeah.
can't get time back.
Yeah.
You can't get
And I'm
memories
working
back.
hard. Like, I work hard on a daily basis.
Yes.
Like, it's gonna come back.
Mm-hmm.
I'm young. The
Feed
trajectory is
that inner
fine.
child. When we got to Cancun, and that man was it, but I was in the middle of the ocean. I've never been so scared in my life. I just looked around, water everywhere. I said, "What is this? Take me back! Take me back! Take me back!" The man said, just looked at me. I didn't think he understood English. I continued to enter because that day I drank so much salt water. By the time I got on the boat, give me something to drink. I need something to drink. I don't care what it is. But it's my inner child. Like, and then I could look back and it's like, dang, I did this thing. Or this week we all had fun. Like this week we fed our inner child.
Yeah.
And just doing random things. Like going to Dave and Buster's. Quick
That's a
tip.
good one.
Yes, Dave and Buster's is half off every Wednesday.
Yeah.
So on Wednesdays, like when we're like busy and we know that like we just are like up to right here, we go to Dave and Buster's and we take it all down.
Wow.
We'll play games. I'll beat everybody at the games.
Period.
I'm lying. I've been losing like a mug. But tic-tac-toe, that's my game.
Oh,
I love yes. But doing that and then also maybe going out to go get something to eat or even going to an outdoor movie, just watching a movie, just anything.
Yeah.
Like going go-karting.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself. An illusion museum. I went there recently.
Cool.
Yeah, it was so nice.
Me is soft life. Me is going to bookstores, just like looking around and hearing the coffee, smelling the coffee, seeing the people read. I can cry. It's just so beautiful. Like you've seen people live. I love that. But there's this other quote too that I saw somewhere, and it was like, "When was the last time you did something for the first time?"
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep, bro. Let me write that down. When was the last time you did something for the first time?
I would like every year, maybe like we do something like for the first time every year.
Oh.
That way life doesn't become monotonous.
Yeah, that was Cancun for me. I've never traveled outside of the country, like besides when I was a baby. So that's why I was really pressed to travel for my birthday. Because I've never gone outside of the country. I've never swam in the middle of the ocean. Half of the things we did in Cancun, I never did especially swimming in 25 feet water. I was scared. No.
Y'all said she's a diver.
My mom was just everything. Everybody just knew that if anything happened to us, they're getting sued. Like, so they were just extra cautious with us. They just knew they were in deep trouble if anything happened to us.
We need to end this podcast.
All right, it was nice talking to y'all for real, for real. I'll be back next week. Straight like that. You heard me.
Don't please. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys so much for listening to this podcast. It is time to clear off the table and wipe the dishes. I don't know if I said that correctly, but thank you so much. Please give us 5 stars, whatever you're listening to us on. Please let us know how you liked this podcast. And I think we're done.
Yeah, if you need any to be CPR certified, first aid certified, bloodborne pathogen certified, please reach out to her. And then when my secret thing comes out, we'll be sure to come back and talk about it.
Period. We'll talk about it.
Have a nice morning, afternoon, or evening. Dammi D's out. She'll talk to y'all later.
All right. And don't forget to pray all the time and laugh really, really loud. Goodbye.